Hello, everybody. It's George from Ireland. Now, what a bizarre situation in Guinea-Bissau a couple of days ago with the supposed coup d'etat in the West African country. So, President Umaro Sissoko Embalo was ousted by a military putsch on Wednesday because the presidential elections were going ahead. He'd been slated to lose, and they've annulled the elections, and that's it. So, he fled the country. So the former Portuguese colony is only about 2 million strong. It's very impecunious, trying to put it delicately, had coup d'etats before. This region of West Africa has had quite a few in recent years, mostly in a pro-Russian direction. When I was in Kenya, I saw that chap who's now president of Burkina Faso. I can't remember his name. He was with that red military beret, and Swahili calling him the Lion of Africa. So he's somehow become a leftist icon in the mode of his predecessor, Thomas Sankara, who was overthrown and killed in the 80s. Um, but anyway, been some extraordinary claims by the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, by the Prime Minister of Senegal, Ousmane Sonko, claiming that the coup is a hoax. That really he was going to lose the elections and he has a sort of pretend coup, so the elections won't go ahead, and he's been allowed to leave the country. And now, notably, former President Embalo has not even disputed this. So the 53-year-old, he's gone to Senegal, which is an adjacent country, because you think, as the cousters, you either kill the former president or you keep him in prison. If you release him, he could say embarrassing things. He could gather his forces and come back to take power again. So it's unusual to release him straight away. They obviously don't see him as a threat. Now, if he was in on the plot, then that wouldn't be a threat, and so on. So some election observers from the West African Elders Forum there, and some people say that the idea that there's a military junta ruling the thing is not true. It's simply ceremonial, and that Mbala was somehow pulling the strings behind the curtain. And it's being called a sham. So I've never heard such allegations before, which is why I think it's hard to discount. So there were a number of attempts to oust him, but they all seem to fail. And people said that he manufactured these false crises as an excuse to quash dissent. And there was one attempted coup in 2023, and there's been no parliament since that time. Anyway, the rest of the world doesn't pay a great deal of attention. It's not very strategically important, doesn't have valuable resources, is there by the Atlantic Ocean in between Guinea, the former French colony, and Senegal, another former French colony. We call this country Guinea-Bissau to avoid confusion with Guinea. So Guinea-Bissau takes its name from its capital city, Bissau, not to be confused with Equatorial Guinea or indeed Papua New Guinea. So the only country, there's only 4 countries in the world with the word Guinea in the name. So the plot thickens, curiouser and curiouser. So yeah, I mean, I reckon it's a sham. Otherwise, it have said no, that's not the case. Will he come back in some form? We shall see. And quite often, it's the military; they have the muscle. Remember reading The Dogs of War while watching that film by Frederick Forsyth novel, and it is used almost as a manual by the cousters who attempted the Seychelles coup in 1981. So it would come by sea, come by night, act quickly, decisively, it's fait accompli, then they can't reverse. You have to eliminate the president, either kill, capture him, and then obviously control the communications. Those days meant the radio exchange, telephone exchange on the radio. They usually didn't have television in those countries, so nobody can communicate, no phone calls without you. They can't summon help, and you control the narrative. What people hear on the radio, a lot of people who were illiterate in those days, so the print media didn't matter that much. Slow to distribute newspapers. You can maybe prevent the newspapers being printed. Maybe you could get control of the airport, so you can get reinforcements and also get out of there if it all goes wrong. Possibly the national bank money, something like that. And then people simply accept you. So it was a bloodless coup, fortunately. We shall see. Thanks for watching my channel. Good night.